black in my mouth.
Mic check. Blooper number one for the You Know Show.
Please keep supporting to give us feedback on each episode. But before we dive into the topic today, I just want to let you know I'm feeling a bit under the weather. So if I'm not talking that much, or if my at times like I sound really stocked up and congested, that's why. But today the topic is, or the word for today is forgiveness. And as usual, what we do here is we'll say a word, introduce ourselves, and give our definitions on what we think the word means.
Okay. Hi y'all. I'm Levi. Forgiveness. I believe forgiveness is a little bit more than just you coming up to somebody and saying, "Oh, I forgive you." It's more of like a mental thing. It can be physical sometimes too, because heartbreak can lead to some type of trauma or whatever. But just as long as you are okay with the situation, you're able to walk away, not letting something affect you. I believe that's forgiveness.
What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm Jimmy. I feel like forgiveness is, yeah, it's more than just like being like, oh yeah, I forgive you. It's more of like you getting a reason why that thing happened, and then you guys both have at least like it may be mutual. A lot of times it's not mutual, but just some like reasoning behind actions, and then you can be like, okay, I may or may not see where you're coming from, and then I'll decide if I forgive you or not. But yeah, something like that. So forgiveness is, like you said, more than just saying I forgive you.
Yeah, Eric or AK Boog, forgiveness is really like there's multiple levels to forgiveness. Like you have the surface level, as like they said, is just like say I forgive you or it's okay. But then it's also the fact of you gotta emotionally and in your mental space be able to say this was like it bothered me that much.
Yeah, I'm new on the episode. My name is John Turner. Um, my style of forgiveness is forgive yourself at first because that's where it all starts at. You may be holding a grudge against somebody or someone did something wrong to you or you did something wrong to that person. And my definition of forgiveness is like you have to forgive yourself before you can go forgive someone else because if you sit there with that guilt on you and you try to forgive somebody, you're gonna feel like, well, I didn't really forgive them because I still don't like what they did to me or what I did to them. So you gotta forgive yourself before you forgive anybody. That's my definition.
Yes, King.
Yeah, I like your definition, John. I think well, obviously, I'm Jalen. I'm your host. My definition of forgiveness is I guess the process of letting go of every negative emotion associated with a situation or person or so. I think yeah, and like John said, I think forgiveness starts with forgiving one's own self for making that mistake that may have caused for them to be hurt in the end. Because I know sometimes we typically beat ourselves up about a choice we made, whether it's to stay with somebody or be with somebody, or just maybe a choice out of free will, like skipping class and then failing the test. You have to sometimes forgive yourself before you start the process of forgiving another person. But what do y'all think is the hardest thing about forgiving somebody?
I feel like the hardest thing about forgiving somebody is having to see that person again. Because if somebody does something to you and it really, hits that button or it sets you off and you see that person again, you can always quote unquote forgive but not forget. So it's just like me being able to sit down with you and see something that you did to me and be like, all right, man, I forgive you, and not have some emotion about that. It's low key kind of hard because it's like, how do I know you're not gonna do that again? But that's the whole point of forgiveness. You just gotta see shit for what it is and let it be for real.
Just gotta vibe with it.
Yeah, most definitely. I think I also think another important thing is like the most hardest part about I think forgiving is kind of letting go of the hurt that the situation caused you.
Most definitely.
Like for example, if somebody does something that really upsets me, I know I have a tendency to, in a sense, have a hard time letting go of the situation, or of what they did because of how it affected me, mostly.
Yeah, and I think think you're gonna be bound to see them as a different person after that. You know, like
Yeah, and, like, and I think the hardest part with like accepting, see them as a different person, is in the sense of somewhat accepting them for whatever flaw you discover that they have that makes them appear to be a different person. Because we can sit up all day and talk about forgiveness and this that and the third, but at the end of the day, we have to kind of accept the situation or the flaw in said person.
Yeah, and I believe like a lot of the time that also follows like the hurt that they cause you because you realize that flaw. Because a lot of the time when they cause you that much hurt to where you have to forgive somebody, it's like you didn't think that they'd do something like that, or you wouldn't expect that out of them.
Yeah, it surprises you.
Yeah, it surprises you, so that's what causes that hurt. So you have to be able to forgive yourself for not realizing it in the first place, but then you also have to turn around and forgive them for causing you that amount of pain because you didn't realize that.
Yeah, and back to what you said about like, wait, repeat. You said something about repeat what you said, please. After that.
I was talking about how you didn't realize at first the flaws that they had. You didn't expect them to push that sort of envelope or cause you that amount of pain. Because at the beginning, you don't see a lot of people for their main flaws, and then after knowing somebody, you'll slowly start to realize said flaws, and that's what usually causes you the pain is because you don't think of them like that kind of. I kind of sucked at explaining that, but
Thank you for explaining. I still forgot. I'm not gonna lie to you. It'll come back to me.
I can kind of put it in words like
Yeah.
having almost to a sense having like a standard or
yeah,
expectation
standard.
for somebody,
Yeah,
and they deceive you, and it's not saying that they do it on purpose or anything like that, but like you expect somebody to be there, and you expect somebody to tell you the truth, or you expect somebody to have your best interest,
yep,
and they just don't, and
yep.
then you just end up in a
Hurt.
situation of just like, alright, so I had a question. So do expectations like lead us to like? Do you think that's a part of forgiveness too? Like how do you
Yeah.
expect this about?
I think so too. Well, yeah, I think that because I know it's been plenty of times where I place my expectations of somebody on for what they do because one thing about me is I know whenever I start talking to somebody, I'm really upfront about things I don't like. And one of the things I don't like, and like, not shameful to, I'm not shameful to say this or admit this. I want to talk to you. Like I don't like the little game of I talk to you one day, I'll talk to you another day, and and then we kind of like bullshit around with communication, and then it makes things awkward.
It's
Because,
childish.
yeah, especially because like I'm like really straightforward with whatever, and so sometimes I believe that that's common sense. If you tell somebody what your boundaries are and what you're looking for and what you expect from them, they should make a rational decision right then and there if they'll be able to hold up to those expectations.
Most definitely.
Which is why in a sense, it hurts a lot more people. Hurt us or cause us to be hurt because they fail our expectations. And expectations are a lot. Like look at football teams. Like when they have like Alabama, they have expectations good every year, and when they're not good, people just like lose their mind.
It's gonna be quiet in Tuscaloosa. You lose. That's the type of culture and
Literally.
expectations we got around this
Like
bitch.
that's the thing with expectations, and the thing with expectations are we shouldn't place them upon somebody until they've already proven to us that they can do the bare minimum or have just some common decency for you.
Another add-on to one of the harder things about forgiveness is remembering that like people can also change too.
Yeah.
Like people like you can forgive someone. Well, you can choose not to forgive someone obviously, and they'll come to you. They've learned the lesson. They're like a whole different person. They went through it and like went through the struggle. It's like coming back to someone after a weird relationship. Like that person. Both of y'all have changed exponentially. So you just gotta. You just gotta come to the concept of that.
Yeah, most definitely.
But nah, to piggyback off what Levi said earlier, I was hoping that when y'all actually said it, the hardest part about forgiveness is the trust that you lost in that person, the trust that that person lost in you, because whatever you did wrong to them, like, because I was in a situation with Jalen earlier this year, where at the time it didn't seem like I did anything wrong, but looking back at the situation, even though that was a friend of mine from middle school, have any good sex to her, and now the trust I lost to Jalen that I earned back, it was like dang, I had to look back and like, man, I really messed up here. So like, because that was one of the girls that he talked to and that he liked, and so the non-trust that I lost from Jalen is what really was hard, the hard part for forgiving, because the conversation that comes with it is also a hard part. So that's the way I look at like that's the hard part of forgiveness is the trust you lost.
Well, yeah, I agree with you on that, John. But to give more of an example of like with the whole me going into a situation, like trust is something that I value a lot with my friends, for example. Like if I'm really close to you and I really trust you, to know me as a person for whatnot. And like in that situation, I'm not gonna dive really too deep into it. But I had lost trust because I had felt as if that it was common sense that maybe this is not something you should do, or something you should think about doing in a sense, which the history of your friend, and and as it goes to show like how expectations can lead to a big disappointment, and a big disappointment in a person whenever they do something wrong that may cause you to have to go through the process of forgiving. But one thing I would like to like expand on is, y'all think forgiveness, your ability to forgive somebody grows with how much you mature?
Definitely. Definitely.
Why so, Jimmy?
So imagine you're like a kid and someone steals a piece of candy from you. As a kid, you're gonna be ticked off. You're gonna be like, "Why did you do that?" I'm gonna start crying and screaming and kicking my feet. But like now, someone took a piece of candy. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just buy a new one. You could have told me at first though, but I don't care.
So,
Carry on with it. Like it just literally, they'll just have to like learn within themselves that like this shit ain't gonna change. You just gotta carry on with it.
But yeah, that's just like we were talking about with carrying on with it. Like you're probably just gonna have to forgive yourself at the beginning. You're just trying to forgive yourself for doing what you did, and then you just move on with your life. You gotta find something better to keep your mind distracted. Me.
Yeah, you gotta sit and think like, why is this so important to me? Do I really need this? And I'm
Yeah.
obviously doing better off without it.
Yeah, like you
I just
understand
gotta
if
get
you
over
can't.
this hump.
Yeah, if you just can't see closure, you just gotta keep moving. You can sit up there and you can forgive yourself for it at the beginning, and then at the end of the day, you're out there fishing, keeping it moving.
well, I mean, that's way easier said than done. So
Yeah.
what's an example? How can somebody do that?
Hobbies. Hobbies.
Yeah,
Get
just
your
trying
life
to pick up a
together.
hobby. Just
Like-
like you got like it's easier said than done, but like every step, every movement starts with the first step. You
Yeah,
gotta
it's
you
the
gotta
little
in your
things.
mind you gotta be able to push yourself and say, okay, I understand what I did wrong. Now I have to keep moving. So that wrong isn't going to change just by me sitting here dwelling on it.
Yeah, it's a little thing. Just start small and
Yeah, you start small. You enjoy the small goals first.
it just you just have to like work on every other aspect of your life and just get your mind off of that situation.
And like with some certain situations, like I feel like chasing closure sometimes keeps you like into the situation.
Yeah,
It'll put
You
you
know
in
what
that
I mean?
box.
Like
Put you in a box.
sometimes you just have to not just see it for what it is, but like sometimes you just have to see it for what it is.
You just gotta accept it.
Because there's a lot of things like that we can't affect or like we can't change about like how we go about in the day to day life. But you want closure about how this is the way it is, but you can't fix it. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you when you say sometimes that the absence of, or not having closure in a situation keeps you in the situation, because I know there have been not countless times, but there's like one that I can remember today where I was constantly searching for a why or answer to this question, and like I felt as if I got the answer to this question, or if I got the answer I was looking for, just an answer in general, it would give me closure and move on with the situation. And sometimes closure is not enough for a person to move on. In my case, that just wasn't enough for me, and it took me looking into myself, and coming to actualization, having awareness to realize the situation that I was in, and realize how it really took me to get over it at the end of the day. Because you can have the answer to answer can't be stated in your face, and until you will come to that realization, or you don't want to, until you come to that realization and accept it for what it is, you're just gonna be in the same situation, doing the same things over and over again, just looking for an excuse for you to stay in the same situation sometimes.
You literally just have to get over it. I mean, shoot, our episode's on forgiveness. They say the world's unforgiving, so you can't really do too much about it except for just get over it yourself internally, externally.
Like,
Beat it.
you gotta see it like a hurricane. You know, hurricanes go through cities all the time, and you can't move the city. You know what I mean? You just gotta sit there and take it, and then try to build back what you can, or let go of what you can let go. You feel me?
Build back, but build back stronger at the end.
Yes, sir. You gotta be like a kingdom.
Jenny, you want to add to it, John?
Well, I add to it, based off closure, see, I do believe that we should have closure and forgiveness, but I don't think we will ever attain it, only because we can't forgive our past or the past that happened before us. And like black and whites, I understand like slavery is a big thing, and to black people, like when those messages they was getting, when Donald Trump had won, people can't forget the past, and mostly like when we look back at like what happened to our ancestors and stuff, we can't forgive the white people for what they did. It was wrong for what they did to us, and white people can't say, they'll sit there and say, well, we did nothing wrong, y'all. And it's the same with the world. And I don't think closure is attainable because not everyone wants closure. Because if you can't forgive the past that happened before you, then you're not going to get any type of closure.
I hear you on
think,
that.
I agree with you, but I do think what comes into play with that, which I was really about down 2 minutes, was taking accountability. Taking accountability for, just anything, dude. Because sometimes taking accountability can save a lot of situations. Like, to go off what John was saying as far as the issue between whites and blacks in America, right? In reality, the reason I believe, and I don't want to offend anybody when I say this, I believe the reason why racism, or the tension between whites and blacks is so bad is because, from black people's point of view, we just want y'all to take accountability for what happened in the past and try to help us do better and, attain a better future in a sense. Not for you to deny it happened or not prove to you. Because the one thing I'll post anybody, who disagrees is, what would you done if that was your past, or if that was part of your history? Like a lot, I'm just saying that, I'm using that as an example just to say that, accountability is a big thing, and there's nothing wrong with taking accountability and admitting you're wrong. It doesn't make you any less weak of a person. It makes you better than the average person. Because to admit you're wrong is to go against part of yourself and say that you was wrong, and that's not the truth of and that's not the truth that you believe in the wrongness.
And I just wish that it was emphasized on taking on that accountability, not knowing that, not saying that you have to be, oh, I'm so sorry, that wasn't you, but just taking accountability of how things are in this country, how things were set up, and what happened for this place to be built. Taking that accountability and saying that, okay, well, these people are disproportionately looked down upon, you know what I mean? Be like, okay, we're gonna try to help these people out, not so we can take what you have, not so we can run in your neighborhoods and do what you think we're gonna do, but not because we just want to be higher than you. We just want a fair shot. That's all.
Yeah, and like I said before, accountability is a really big thing because, I know with me, right? If I have this weakness, and one thing that I like, or I tell people, I like how you tell me around and take accountability when they're wrong, or when they, wrong me or done something wrong. Because at the end of the day, I'm a believer of that it's a lot. If you can admit you're wrong, you're better than the average person. Like I said before, you're better than the average person.
And you can't really take offense to it when you're wrong too. I think a lot of people like see things or like little arguments or conversations/arguments. I think people only let it get that far because really I just think they're fragile. Like if you let that kind of stuff just get to you, where you start to think they're like coming at you, and then you have to admit if someone's like right or wrong, then at that point it's just like it's not even that serious.
Yeah, just coming to an agreement.
Yeah.
It's not, no, you were right. I hate when that. I just
one episode where like it's recent too, bro. It was talking about like it was like Republicans versus Democrats, bro. And like the video was like 3 hours long, bro. And all the people were doing was just like they wouldn't be listening, bro. They always,
Ridiculing.
dude, they always just think about what they gonna say next, bro. And dude, there was no battleground met. Like they love hating each other like way more than they like got.
Watching a conversation where two people can have two different opinions and still like argue, you know what I mean, without yelling.
Just have a conversation.
It's
bro, that's
it's
what
so
it is.
refreshing.
Yeah.
Cause it's like that's actual intellect. You get what I mean?
Yeah, to be able to have a conversation and be willing and be okay with the fact that you were wrong. And the thing with being wrong is, literally everybody is wrong in every different parts of time, bro. You're not always going to be right.
Not always gonna be right.
Never gonna always be right.
So like, why spend all of this time like beating yourself up over it, or like going through life without saying, you know, I'm never gonna be wrong, and when I'm wrong, I'm gonna be mad about it because like, bro.
It's crazy because sometimes you can be both. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you can be right and wrong. Like,
Yeah, you could just have partially
yeah,
correct
man,
answer.
too.
Like,
Like, look, but
You don't know.
But you know, back to the conversation about forgiveness. You know, just the final thing I want to dive into with forgiveness is, I guess, kind of the misunderstanding, or you know, how people misunderstand what forgiveness is in a sense. Like, for example, right? I'm gonna use relationships as an example. It's the most common thing. I'm a believer in you should not forgive at least somebody, you know, in some sort of aspects of a relationship. Like, for example, if that person cheats on you.
Oh yeah.
I believe you should not forgive them until they show you different. And like I look feel like it's a problem. I'm really ignorant because I don't really know. I'm not in a relationship, bro. I'm gonna keep it up. So I'm gonna be ignorant to the whole topic. But sometimes I feel like some people stay with a person because they feel as if they have. Some people forgive a person because they feel like if they forgive them, they can stay with them. So if they're staying with that person, they go through the same things again.
As my girl like to say, some of these hoes just weak minded. They weak in the knees. They need to stand up. Because if you got a boy that's willing to cheat on you, like, and you actually worth something, like you not ugly. Not saying any girl's ugly, no, but you not ugly. You feel me?
I mean, regardless though, cuz.
You feel like still? I'm just saying, like, if you because I can understand it. I'm not saying I can understand it sometimes, but there's just be people who feel like they just tied to somebody. You get what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta know your
And
worth.
it's like, how you gonna be tied to somebody and they not treating you right? You know what I mean?
You know, half the time the females be like, but not even females. It goes for both male
Yeah,
and females.
both.
Okay, it happens a lot. A lot of people just be unaware of their self worth. Like I kid you not. I've heard somebody tell me before they believe that nobody will treat them as good as their ex once did.
There's always somebody else.
And you know, like all I'm saying is that like, bro, you're 19.
Yeah, like you got the risk.
You get a race in life here.
Especially if you in college.
Yeah, like you should let these little, you know, relationships that didn't work out define who you are and whatnot.
The thing is, like, relationships are really intimate things. So like, they've shared that intimacy with that person. They've given it all up for them, not sexually. Like they've let them into their little emotional locker, their brain, like all that kind of stuff. So I feel like when you get attached to someone, it's gonna be like that for a little bit. And you're gonna have like a weak heart for them. Like you're gonna want to forgive them faster. I don't know.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
I agree with you.
It's just different views.
I think they even
Yeah.
did a study on that at one point. They
Yep.
say like if you love somebody, you're more likely to like forgive them faster
Yeah,
than you would
yeah.
somebody else.
Well, yeah, because love is measured by what you forgive.
Yeah, like it's really on what you're willing to accept about that person, really.
Yeah, or what they've done to you.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, like I think a big thing with, you know, a lot of people when it comes to forgiveness is the fact that at one time these memories or this person made you happy.
Oh, that's what they're holding on to.
Yeah, and that's what they're holding on to. So in a sense, they kind of become unaware of the fact that they're getting played out or that they're being treated like unfairly.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad to think about it because like in a sense, both guys and girls, you kind of lose your worth whenever you hold on to the past, you know, or these past happy moments. And I know it's hard to not hold on to that. You know what I'm trying to say.
That's why you need things to do that make you happy. People
Yeah,
around you that
always
make you
keep
happy.
things.
Because if those are the really happy moments that you can cherish, that says a lot about you.
Yeah.
You feel me?
And you gotta be happy with yourself, man.
Yeah,
You got to be happy with yourself.
Because like my dad said, the last person you gonna yourself.
Yeah, so
So you might as well just hunker down and begin to like yourself.
Yeah, like,
It's easier said than done, but
it is.
it goes right back to our first episode of self-confidence.
Like, you gotta be true with yourself too. Like,
Yeah.
you can't be trying to give yourself unrealistic expectations. Like, you gotta know who you is, and I feel like, there's nothing wrong with wanting for yourself, because everybody wants the best for themselves. But you gotta be able to, it just takes being human sometimes to assess your environment and understand that, okay, I may not be as skilled as this next person, but he's not as skilled as me in this area. You get what I mean? And being able to take somebody else's skills and combine that with your skills and be able to make, like, say for instance, a business, or just to have an opinion with somebody, both of y'all mend each other's opinions to understand a different perspective. It's just beautiful.
Gotta work as a unit.
I think another thing is I'm gonna put it this way. I think another thing is that I think we also gotta be aware of the fact that we're all just human at the end of the day when it comes to path of forgiveness or just missing things in general. I think we all like and realize that we're all human, we all make mistakes, we're all going to inadvertently either inadvertently hurt somebody or purpose, regardless of that fact. We're still all human, and it just shows our
Nobody's
flaws, and it shows how different we all are and the different perspectives that we all have and share. Is the fact that we all need each for reasons.
But yeah, going back to what Levi was talking about earlier, you can't be so self-entitled with your own ideals and fantasies that this person is never gonna do this to me, and I don't have to worry about his forgiveness because I'm forgiven anyway. He can do it. You have to sit there and just be like come to a realization that people are gonna make mistakes, and people are gonna hurt you, whether they like it or not. And I was watching a podcast like a few weeks ago by Carlos Miller. He was talking about how do you tell if a woman is yours? You can't really tell if a woman is truly yours, whether you're married to her or not, because we all have our own set of eyes that God gave us. When we see something that we like or it interests us, we're gonna look. So you can't sit here and say, oh, he's never gonna do this, because regardless of us, he's still a human. He still has human nature. The same way, like in the Bible, where God gave Adam and Eve their own free will, told them not to do something. Not Adam, but Eve was a seed, and she still did it. So she just can't sit here. You can't sit here and be self-entitled or think that this is never gonna happen, because we're all human and we're gonna make mistakes.
To touch on teach touch on the topic that you said earlier, Jay. Like, man, I just had it, but I just lost it. Oh, I got it back. My bad. To touch on the topic that you said earlier about, like, whoa, where did it just go? That's crazy.
Is it about the fantasizing part?
No, it's not about the fantasizing part. It's about going through life and, like, looking back on your past and trying to forget it. Like, sometimes, like John just said, like, if you were to go through a relationship and have been through a relationship previously and have did wrong, if you can't see that, okay, I believe in that person and they let me down in some type of way, and get in another relationship and not be so wary to jump in and be like, oh, I want you to do this, I expect you to do this, and see things like, okay, she's human too. Like, because everybody in a relationship ain't gonna be perfect. Everybody knows, you don't know something about somebody the second you meet, you know what I mean? But yeah, so it's just like, that's what I was trying to say. Like, you just gotta deal with it. You need to take stuff that you've had in your past and see if, like, you don't need to get forgiveness from a person or nothing like that. Just see what happened, understand what happened, and try to move on and guide your life so that won't happen again.
Yeah, I agree that I think a big part of forgiving yourself is looking not looking at your mistakes in relation as a bad thing. I know it feel a bad thing because it may feel rewarded in something that was terrible for you, but I think that you shouldn't. Yeah, I don't. My bad, dude. I forgot what I forgot.
It's crazy.
You should you should sit there and beat yourself up about your past mistakes or whatnot. Look at it as an opportunity to learn and see what you can do differently. Because like I said in the first episode, so many times, sometimes your failures or your mistakes are opportunities for you to grow and succeed as a person. That's how we learn. That's how we become better people, is by going through bad things, experience bad things, and learn from those bad things, and learn how you can do different by those bad things. But that was all for. Well, that's not all for today. We're gonna give our little out. I'm gonna give our little outro. process of letting go many traumatic events or things that somebody has done to you and letting go of your negative emotions is part of that. The importance of forgiveness lies within oneself because if you can, you should not sit here and beat yourself up over what somebody else did to you or hold that grudge against him because sooner or later all he's going to do is just come back to, he's going to come back, he's going to keep be repeating your life, you're never going to get over it, you're going to have trauma with him and it's going to limit you in so many different ways. Whatever somebody does to you, the way they make you feel, that does not define who you are. That doesn't define who you're going to be, and that most definitely doesn't define what type of person you was in that situation. Because we're all so different in so many ways, and we all have the power to be great, and we shouldn't let situations, temporary situations at that, cloud our judgment or, in a sense, ruin us as a person. Don't If you forgive somebody, it does not mean you have to be cool with them. It does not mean you have to be friends with them. It does not mean you have to let them back into your life. As long as you can forgive them and then do all you can to make things right with them, and as long as you try your best and then you forgive yourself and you're happy with yourself, that's all you can be. You cannot don't beat yourself up over it. If the other person will have another person in your life, do what's best for you. Because at the end of the day, all you have is you. But I just want to thank everybody who tuned in for today's episode. We love you all, and we thank you for the support. All the links to our socials will be in the description, and please go support our homeboy, IMB the Mayor.
Bro, I was fucking.
That nigga Jalen said, I'm gonna just be buying shit.
And I get paid next week.
Oh yeah. I wish I had.
You know,
like,
shit.
I'm
getting the tattoo.
Well,
I
I mean,
wish you played if you was
I'm calling it.
Was it like mic test?
Is it recording?
You mean a tattoo?
Yeah.
I'm getting the tattoo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what
it's basically
we
a
get?
mic test.
Would be like a device tested? Or just,
Whatever.
I was about to say, don't let it be nothing
you
crazy
doing your
now,
computer or
y'all.
you doing my?
It's this shit.
I'm San Antonio.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, Kings. What position did he play?
Point guard.
You got to go up in the shot,
Hey,
man.
dude, was he good?
Yes, that's the thing. He was an all-star. He was a dunk. He was in a dunk contest.
You play 2K, you hear that?
Just
name?
let y'all know.
Yeah, I played.
Anyone gets the number for
Can't
what
even
the
answer
answer
my
my social security card.
75.
Are we not going to
Two.
talk about what this is?
All right, we're gonna all right, that's it. Because I'm not gonna lie to you. All right, why the fuck would you say that?